Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel English Seekers 9. Hope so you are doing well. In this video we are going to discuss a literary theory Marxism by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels in 32 points. So let's cover and clear our concepts about Marxism in detail. The very first point is origin of Marxism. Marxism is a social, political and economical philosophy that examines the effects of capitalism on labor, productivity and economic development and argues for a worker revolution to overturn capitalism in favor of communism. Marxism took its name from its founder, who was a German radical philosopher and economist Karl Marx, and named as Marxism. And now let's talk about the title Marxism. The word which ends with ISM it's a philosophy or any literary movements used by socialists or any other persons. That's why it's called Marxism. This theory was later extended by Friedrich Engels. Marx and Engels authored a pamphlet named the Communist Manifesto in 1848. And this pamphlet outlined their theory of historical materialism and predicting the ultimate overthrow of capitalism by the industrial proletariats. Friedrich Engels edited the second and third volume of Marx Analysis and Critique of Capitalism. And the second point is importance of Marxism. Marxism helped to consolidate or to make stronger, inspire and radicalize elements of the labor and socialist movements in Western Europe, and it was later the basis of Marxism. After Marxism by Karl Marx, a movement called Leninism, which was led by Vladimir Lenin in Russia, and Maoism, led by Mao Zedong in China. The revolutionary doctrine developed respectively. It also inspired a more moderate form of socialism in Germany, the precursor of modern social democracy. It is mainly concerned with the battle between the working class and the ownership class and favor communism and socialism over capitalism. And the next point is Marxism is different from socialism. Under socialism, the means of production are owned or controlled by the state for the benefits of public, an arrangement or a structure that is compatible with democracy and a peaceful transition from capitalism. Marxism justifies and predicts the emergence of a stateless and classless society without private property, where means of production are controlled by the proletariats, who will rule in an interim temporary dictatorship. Marxism was understood and practiced by the various socialist movements, particularly before 1914. And the next point is main ideas or beliefs. Marxism was a philosophical anthropological theory. Anthropological means study of what makes us human, and it's a theory of history and economic and political theory. Beliefs. Marxists actually believe that the final stage of historical political development is communism. And now what is communism? Communism is a political and economical system that seeks to create a classless society in which the major means of production such as mines and factories are owned and controlled by the public. Some Marxists insist that real communism has never been tried, despite the fact that many government claim to have followed Marx ideas. And Marxism key topics. Marxism is all about money. In its entire idea, culture or religion is based upon money and authority. It's a totally money-minded theory. He believes that everything, job, class, economical status, rests on money. Money was very much important in Karl Marx's views. And the sixth one in Marx thoughts. The written work of Marx cannot be reduced to even a philosophy. Marx declared that philosophy must become reality. One could not longer be content with interpreting the world, one must be concerned with transforming it. And here is the most famous quote of Karl Marx. He said, "The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point is to change it, which means transforming both the world itself and human consciousness. This in turn requires a critique of experience as well as critique of ideas. In fact, Marx believes that all knowledge involves a critique of ideas. He was not an imperialist or experienced man, rather his work teems with concepts that he has had inherited from earlier philosophers and economists. Marx, instead of making abstract affirmation about a whole group of problems such as human nature, knowledge, and matter, he examines each problem in its dynamic relation to the others, and above all, tries to relate them to historical, social, political, and economical realities. Marxism sets in the mid-late 19th century. It was marked with unrest and protest against the government, especially middle-class people who were doing extensive duties or hard duties, and in return to their duties, their pay was very much low. That creates air of dissatisfaction among working-class peoples called proletariats. Next is unemployment. Unemployment was another issue that risen dissatisfaction. This unemployment was for a specific period or a certain period of time. People were hired to industry or other jobs, and after that they were fired for after some time. Another very strong point that supports Marxism views that British was not welfare state because they were not doing enough for the welfare of the people of the state. All resources were directed in the upper class. Proletariats or working class was not getting as much as they want. Welfare state looks for the welfare of the general public equally. They provide the facilities or more opportunities for poor uh, to better their lifestyle, but British state was not doing all this. So this also raises some dissatisfactions among working class. This state doesn't care that few people need it, that what few people need it. In the time of Marxism, people have no right to vote. There were no democracy, no election were held in Britain. There was no universal right for vote. If it was limited to certain people. This also raises dissatisfaction among the lower class or a working class. And the next is France was facing revolution. France was a neighboring country to Britain, and it was in the condition of revolution or facing revolution in 1848. That was the feature of Europe. Evolution was also emerging in the rest of the Europe. Next is public lacked resources. In the period of Marxism, the general public didn't have much resources to live a satisfactory life. Everything was disarray. And Karl Marx used basic terminologies that shows that the beliefs of Marxism and shows that Marx have concepts about the condition of the people or of working class poor. It means the working class supporting him. And the next is the two classes that the society have in the era of Marxism. One is bourgeoisie and the second is proletariat. According to Marx, many people who are rich and owners of different factories or private properties and people who control the resources of state are called capitalist or bourgeoisie, and people on the other hand, people who work in factories or in businesses and were poor are called proletariat. And the next is production relationship. Means one important thing of Marxism is that both capitalists and proletariats are thrown into a relationship during the production. Marx targets this relationship also. Production means when factories are producing their own stuff, then they have a relationship. Marx criticized why it is happening that when poor were getting benefits from owners, mean like more wages, then they are in a relationship with them. Why they didn't protest against them at that time. And the next point that was also creating dissatisfaction among working class was payment issues. According to Marx, they didn't enjoy a warm relationship. They always fight on the payment issues. They always have trouble in having good relationship with their workers. Workers need more wages and the capitalists pay less to earn maximum profit. They wish that the lowest salaries should be offered to workers, and on the other side workers wants the highest wages to improve their lifestyle or to live betterly. And the next is a moral fight. These two groups are locked in moral fight. Means that what will the ruling class do on the suffering of poor, and how the working class or the poor stand against the ruling class for their rights when they are not getting much from them. And the next is competition of classes. A group of capitalists compete with each other also, and whoever succeed get richer and richer, and who fails they were eliminated from that capitalist class. And on the other side, those who become succeeded in the businesses or get richer, they become the part of capitalist class. And the next point is result of downfall. As I told you earlier that if one capitalist fail or get lost in his business or faces a downfall, he will become part of the working class. It's mean capitalist could go down due to failure in business. And the 20th point is working class was becoming poor. On the working class is doing hard work and becoming poor and poor because they were not getting as much as their wages should be. So this, and the 21st point is working class wants revolution. Due to this feeling of dissatisfaction, workers are now reached on that stage where they can bear no more. Then they will rise against capitalist class in order to demand more wages. Then the workers class got a revolution. And through Marx views, they also get known about their rights or their basic rights, can say. Now the question is, could a revolution happen? Yes, according to Marx, if workers got or take over ownership of factories, then revolution would be raised. All capitalists will be eliminated and things will be shared among the public because the proletariats were majority number while the capitalist was few in number. So majority could change the society rules and regulation type. According to the Karl Marx, after the revolution, a communist society will be created. And what is communist society? Communist society is the society in which the proletariats would control all resources of the country and everything of the state among, and the owner of these all state things was the general public. As we all know that if something happens, there must be a specific reason behind it. So the backstory of this revolution means why this happened, why proletariat stood up against capitalists and took control of the resources. Marx shed lights on it. The next is two parts of society. According to Marx theory that society is made up of two parts or two arms. One part is called the base, which means the foundation of a building. Marxism say that the economy is the base of society. Base means of production, but means of production are different for industrial society and agriculture society because these are two different fields. And above the base, superstructures are built. Superstructures mean other part of society like culture, education, state, media, institution. In this image you can see that base is the economy and mean of production means all about economy like proletariats, private property, capitalist, commodities, etc. And above the base, a superstructure is everything not directly to do with production. That means those things who are not directly belongs to the means of production, like media, because media is independent nowadays in modern society. Politics, religion, culture, family, education means education has no concern with economy or like these things. But the Marxist thoughts that base and superstructures are directly proportional to each other, because if the base means economy is good, then the superstructure like educations and culture will be really better than anything else. And the 26th point is economy determines shape. Economic base determines the shape of the superstructure. Base decides what superstructures will be. If the base is under the upper class, all benefits goes to the upper class, and if the base is under working class, then all the rules and regulation will be set according to the poor class. Need ideology. As we all know that to control society we need ideology. Ideology means a set of beliefs to control the mindset of people. If social control is in capitalist society, then they will develop those set of beliefs that are in favor of them, not in the favor of the working class. Ruling class ideas. Ruling class gives ideas, and those ideas are in their favor, not in the favor of the working class, because they would never want to give freedom or independence to their subordinates, that they will rise and give challenges to them. False concept is the next point. Proletariats think that they can own everything, but in reality they could not, because they have a false concept that everything belongs to them, but in reality nothing belongs to them. But they just have false consciousness because they have no private property. This is not a bad theory, but several criticisms are leveled against Marxism. The very first criticism on Marxism is the class structure of today is more complex. In most Western nation and increasingly in developing nation, there is an extensive middle class. Middle class means they have no private property and also no poor at that, and of that life becomes hard for them. Who have stocks or shares invested in corporations done by what Marxists would call the capitalist class, means they have shares in capitalism. They are not capitalists nor proletariats. Also in Britain, 70% of people own their own homes and see these homes as their private property and economic asset. Like, so many of us are in a sense that proletariats capitalist. The second is capitalism today is less exploitative. Henry Ford, the famous car manufacturing company, realized that paying his worker good wages would generate demand for the cars he produced. Means the working class is getting more pays and now buying their own vehicles. As a result, that by improving the working class, elite class is also getting benefits, a process which led to workers being less exploited and buying into the capitalist class or a capitalist system. Uh, Critics said that control of base doesn't mean control of superstructure. Means Marx argued that those who control the base control the economic superstructure. It is quite obvious that many of our institutions today are free from bourgeoisie control. For example, the huge section of the press are critical of the elite, and many popular music artists are extremely critical of the capitalist system. Next is false consciousness is a problem concept in postmodern society. Postmodernist argues that culture, mainly the media, exists independently of bourgeoisie control and is used by people in different for a variety of different purposes. If institutions are not controlled by bourgeoisie, then there can be no false consciousness. Means if the institutions controlled by working class, then then their rights slogans will be more or loudly risen. And the next is there is less alienation today. Alienation means separation or thinking him down. There is much less alienation in modern companies. How? Because workers have a lot more to say, partly due to unionization and partly due to the enlightened management techniques. In addition, there are 4 million self-employed people who directly control the terms and conditions of their working lives. Capitalist has lifted billions of people out of poverty. Classes Marxist theory have been criticized for being economically deterministic because it's all based upon economy or money. Marx argues that economic law determine not only the shape of society but also the direction of history itself. On reflection, however, it is clearly the case that other factors shape history too. Different societies have responded differently to the global spread of capitalism. In the 70s, communists didn't work. The communist revolution in Eastern Europe didn't lead to greater equality and freedom as Marx would have hoped. Given the failures of communism, it is difficult to see what the alternative of capitalism might be, because only communism was thought as the opposite of capitalism by Marx. Marxism was a meta-narrative. Finally, many sociologists today would argue that Marxism was just Marx's intention of creating the perfect society. We should really be focusing our intention of much more specific and localized social issues that are rising and hurting our economy and the society system. So these were the criticism on Marxism by different critics, and maybe lesser extent they are also good criticism because they have strong points against Marxism. And this is my favorite point, that how Marxism relate to literature. Marxism is basically for the sake of society, to bring peace for the society, to end the people's suffering so that they could get well wages to improve their lifestyle and live a better life. It holds the view that the work of literature is a product of society, means how the society is, the literature of that era will be the same, like the reflection of society, literature will be. It believes that the literature reflects the class struggle and materialism. For example, if we read a novel or a poetry, we also discuss the era and political aspects of that time, and also discuss the religious beliefs of the people and in influence on the people. So we can say that history is all about politics and religion. People are in politics and use it for their own advantages. Literature could start a revolution. It create awareness among the people, and many revolution could start. It defines the relationship of literary work to social reality. It is political in nature, and judge writer background that in which circumstances it is composed. And the last point is Marxism goals. Marxism was opposite to an economic system based on inequality, on the alienation and exploitation of the majority, means poor, and use them for their own benefits. Marxism wants to achieve a classless society throughout the world so that everyone could enjoy the basic rights. Hopefully that this video will help you a lot. Share and subscribe my YouTube channel English Seekers 9. Thank you so much for watching, and you will get other theories, and I will make a playlist of the literary theories and literary criticism. So keep watching, keep supporting. Thank you so much.